She finally uploaded that tutorial. Hey guys, it's Cassandra Color here, and I'm going to be doing an eyebrow tutorial today. There's just a few things I want to talk about when it comes to eyebrows before I actually do the portion where I show you how to do the eyebrows. And the first thing is plucking. Plucking is totally up to you. I particularly just like to pluck anything that is outside of the border where I want my actual eyebrow to be at. And if it's on the border, I'm plucking it. The tweezers that I use are the Tweezerman tweezers. These are $20 for a pair of tweezers. But when I first bought them, I was kind of like, why? You know what I mean? Like, why are you going to spend $20 on a little like metal thing when the cheaper ones are just so similar? I started using it, and there are some times when I have used it where there's like a hair that I can't get, and it's just like it's too short to pluck out, but it's like really dark, but I want it gone. These tweezers will get them out. After I get done tweezing my eyebrows, there's only two products that I typically ever use in my eyebrows. And I've used a lot of different products in my eyebrows over the years. I've used the Benefit brow one, I've used Anastasia, I've used the pomades, I've used a lot of different things. It took me a long time to figure out what shape to make my eyebrows and what products work best for me. I don't like the feathery brows. I just don't. It's just not my type. I like my eyebrows to look like they just came out the eyebrow factory, and they're nice and clean and neat, and they're just grown that way. But you know, not too blocky. They look like they could be hair, but at the same time, they're just fresh out of the eyebrow factory, you know. So there's two products that I use when I do my eyebrows that I have found that work best. And I've always kind of went to use something else and then came back to these products over and over again. Two things that I use are the NYX Eyebrow Marker, and I use it in medium. This marker has a really defined edge on it, so you can make a border pretty well with it. And also it works for almost any shade eyebrow that I've done, even red. I try to keep this towards the front of the brow to create kind of a fade, and then the outer portion I want it to be a little bit darker. I use the MAC pencil in Spiked. They do a good job of creating the hair like stroke that I want to make when I make my eyebrows. When I give birth to my eyebrows. I do have one eyebrow that's much longer than the other one, and you will see that in the tutorial. I also do have a very pigmented freckle in one of my eyebrows also, which basically defines what the border is that I'm going to choose, just because when there's a freckle underneath the border, it doesn't look right. So the edge of that freckle is the border of my eyebrow for that reason. Throughout this video, I will be brushing up the hair and using a product, and then brushing down the hair and using a product. And because I'm using two products, brushing up and brushing down will be happening 4 times. Brush up, brush down, brush up, brush down. Because it's important to brush up to get the under border and brush down to get the top border, and then brush it back up so that the hairs are in place where you want them to be. I dye my hair. I bleach it. It gets bleached. I bleach my eyebrows when I bleach my hair. And some people are like, oh, why would you do that? It makes sense. When my hair's lighter and I have lighter hair, my eyebrows look a lot better lighter also. And when I have darker, or when I have like a little bit of root, like right now I'm kind of in an in-between phase, put a little bit more dark in my eyebrows. It just looks better. So when my hair is bleached, I do still draw them in brown, but I just draw them in a lighter brown. So when you talk about eyebrows, it's kind of hard to explain it to somebody because everybody's eyebrows are different. What we're gonna do is I'm going to show you how I do my eyebrows when I first bleach my hair, and I'm also gonna show you how I do my eyebrows when I have a little bit of roots. Okay, so we're gonna start off with the darker eyebrows when I have a little bit of roots, and then brushing the front hairs up and the back hairs to the side. The first product I always use is the NYX marker, just making sure to use a very light stroke in the front of the brow, and then carrying the border all the way to the back of the brow. And then I'm going to go back to the front of the brow and place the marker parallel to the border of the eyebrow and start to build up a light color in the front portion of the brow. I noticed a hair on the border that was making my border look a little bit crooked, so I went ahead and plucked that out. And then a light fill in towards the back. Now that I'm happy with the bottom border, I started brushing down to expose the top border of the brow, and then just drawing in the top border of the brow, connecting it all the way to the tail of the brow. Now I'm going back in with the eyebrow marker to fill in any naked spots. And now I'm going to brush it back up again. And now going in with the darker pencil, starting with the bottom border, filling in any gaps and bringing it out to the tail. I'm also drawing a very light line under the front border so that it blends well with the tail of the brow. And brushing it back down to do the top border. And I'm going in with the pencil to darken the top border. When I'm happy with the pigmentation, I'm going to brush it back up again for a final time and darken in any of the bottom edge that wasn't blended away with brushing. Now I'm going to carve out the brows with a MAC 263 brush by putting a small amount of concealer on the back of my hand and making a line of balled up product along the bristles of the brush. I start in the middle of the brow and I have the most product on my brush so that it's easier to dispense along the brow as I'm carving. And then I'm just dragging the concealer along the border that I want. As you can see, typically I do my eyebrows first before I put any makeup on. So here I went in a little far over the border that I wanted, so I went back in with the marker just to correct the border. This works better with the marker because of the defined edge of the applicator. And then finishing off the concealer and pulling the concealer down so that it's easier to reach with my sponge to blend out later on. So I don't always carve out my brows, but I do find myself doing it more when I have darker brows just because of the contrast between my skin and the actual brow. Going back in to darken up any bald portions. And defining the tail to make a perfect taper. So this is the before and after. So starting with the second brow, I do it the exact same way. I'm starting with a very light stroke to start the inner border of the brow, and then bringing it all the way back to the tail, keeping in mind the bottom edge of the freckle is the bottom border of the whole brow. And then again laying down the brush parallel to the border, and again pulling up and releasing pressure upwards to fade the product upward. Brushing down the hair, drawing the top border, and slowly extending the tail outwards. And then brushing upwards again and proceeding with a darker shade on the bottom border, with just a very light stroke on the bottom front portion. And then again just filling in any gaps as needed. Now I'm brushing downwards with the hair again to darken the top border and extend the tail out just a bit more. And filling in a small gap and brushing up the hairs for one final time. And now I'm concealing on the bottom just to carve out a good border. Now I'm taking a Real Technique sponge and blending out the concealer into my skin on both sides and finishing up my makeup. And this is the final look of the darker brow when I have roots. She has been bleached! Now this portion is where I'll do the blonde brows. So I'm starting by brushing up the hair and talking to myself in the mirror, no big deal. And going straight in with the NYX marker in the same exact way I did before. And now I'm extending that to the tail of the brow, then dropping the marker to the border and pulling up to fade that lighter brown color. Brushing down the hair and drawing the top border of the brow, really building up that light brown as I go. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Continuing to the shorter brow with the freckle by brushing up, drawing on the bottom border along the edge of the freckle and extending it out. Brushing down again, drawing in that top border and connecting the tail and darkening it in. Brushing up again and a quick fill-in to any wiped away product with the spoolie. And now I'm going in with the darker pencil to try and camouflage the freckle first. I always start with the darker pencil on this brow first to hide the freckle, and then I darken the other brow just to match. And I'm brushing back down and connecting the tail, and ensuring the sharpness of the tail at the brow, and brushing up one last time, and then interchanging between the products, the marker and the pencil, to get the correct pigmentation all the way through. And ensuring the sharpness of the tail at the brow. And then I look over here, look over there, look over here, look over here, look over there, 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 up, down, sideways, to the side, up, to the front, to the back. Oh, not happy. Fill in just one little spot. One little spot, no big deal. And now we're done. Boom shakalaka. When I remember to put on brow gel, I do. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Clear Brow Gel. And this is the finished brow look. And then as a reminder, this is the darker brow. And then this is the lighter brow again. Any products not mentioned will be listed in the description box below. Okay, so that wraps up this tutorial. So if you like this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. And make sure to follow me on Snapchat to get a behind the scenes view. Are you listening? Okay, I don't think he is. Okay. Hey guys, it's Cassandra Color, and I'm gonna do an eyebrow tutorial today. You know how hard it is not to do just this the whole time I'm doing the eyebrow tutorial. Hey guys, I'm doing an eyebrow tutorial today. Hey, how are you?